to the Just Face It podcast. Today is November 2nd, 2019. And as usual with me, I have my co-host, the Psychoscrast.
Hello.
And joining us today, I have as our guest, Kurohitsuki, which
Hello.
I really hope I'm not butchering that. I just realized I never actually asked.
It's basically right. Kurohitsuki, yep.
All right. Awesome. So you are a Twitch streamer.
Correct.
How long have you been streaming on Twitch?
I've been streaming on Twitch since about a year ago. Started in September. Started like really going at it in September, like end of August, early September, and been affiliate since October. So
nice,
passing that year mark, and
that's awesome.
Great.
Is that the first place you've ever streamed? It's just been 1 year.
Yep. I haven't been like to other streaming services. I think I have like maybe one stream up on YouTube at one point, but yeah, Twitch is just kind of where I found about like what live streaming is, and so I've just kind of stuck with that ever since.
Gotcha. What kind of gave you the first push into the streaming scene?
It was honestly, so I when I went to Japan in March of 2018, and I was like just enthralled, fell in love with it. It was great, but that also means that like the time zones were just like 8 hours apart, so I needed something to watch or like to communicate with at night. And I found an Australian streamer named It's Me Zelby, and that's kind of how I just he was playing Magic the Gathering Arena, so that's kind of how I got the concept of just like, oh, Twitch is something that I could interact with and do. So when I came back home, I just started to keep on doing that, and I ran into more amazing streamers like Saslin and Jessica and Tuoff, and from there, getting into with their communities, I also just kind of found the passion to start streaming as well. So yeah, it's just been that way ever since.
Awesome. Do you have like a favorite moment or sort of like interaction with, or I guess like what's your favorite way to interact with your viewers? Or do you have any favorite moments? What makes you happy?
I love it when people make clips of just me like messing up and then like calling back to it later. There was this one time where I had just got done with a whole spiel about how like, oh, Magic the Gathering Arena, like there's too many players playing it there, and there's no friends list. It's literally impossible to ever run into someone that you know. And then as I'm saying that, the game, like the match starts, and I like the username of the person is someone I know in real life. And it was clipped immediately. And you can't get rid of it. And yeah, it was great. So yeah, just moments like that, being able to reflect on just moments where you like messed up, but like, you know, everyone's laughing with you, you know. Those are my favorite ones for sure.
I always kind of have like, it doesn't happen often, but I think maybe Overwatch is where it happens the most. I always kind of have like a panic attack when I come across like a friend who's on the other team. Like, right. Am I supposed to say hi? Do I be friendly? Do I start talking crap? I don't know what the etiquette is here.
I think it depends on like your level of friendship with them, right? It's just like, do you just like call them out and then let them explain to their teammates that you're not really like a jerk or something like that?
You still owe me $5.
Exactly. What matters is that you win, though. You don't want to lose.
Yeah. Then they can walk all over you.
Exactly.
Not a good spot to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, hopefully that lets our viewers get to know you a little bit better. Make sure you guys go check them out over on Twitch. And I think with that, we're going to jump straight into sort of our news for this week. Our first bit of news, maybe we'll get PC players a little bit excited. We found out that Death Stranding is going to be coming to PC in the year 2020, which will be next year. Yeah, it actually hasn't come out on console yet. I think it's the 5th, if I'm double checking my notes real quick.
Yeah.
Or the 8th, it'll be coming out over to PS4, but it will be coming over to PC next year.
Right.
So if it does really, really well, that should get PC players excited. PS4 exclusives don't generally come to PC until way down the line.
This is still. Do we know when in 2020? It just says.
It just
in
says 2020. My guess will probably be
late for sure.
a year.
Yeah.
It'll be next November or so.
Right, like this time next year, if not later.
Yeah, because PlayStation. That's kind of what's weird about this. PlayStation's really, really like hardcore about their exclusives.
Right.
And so it's weird for them to even say an announcement that it's coming this soon. Like they've had other games come over to like Epic, some of their exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
But those have been what like when did Heavy Rain come out?
Oh
Was
God,
it like 2011? So it's been like 8 years or something.
By the time that there's like more, like wasn't it just like a whole collection that came over from the creator of Heavy Rain? So it wasn't just the one; it was his whole body of work.
But it's definitely a rarity. But I my guess is it'll be a year, just because they really want to try and. I mean that's a big selling point of the PS4 is they have these great narrative exclusives. And I'm guessing they'll hang on to it for at least a year because they want to try and keep sales up on their end. But we've seen a couple early reviews already from various sites. I won't bring any of them up in particular. It's kind of not had great reviews, or it's kind of been all over the place as far as how people feel about the game. Some people, what I keep hearing a lot of is it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's a piece of art, and it's incredibly boring. It tends to be the phrases I'm hearing often from a lot of these reviews. But I guess we'll have to find out on the 8th.
Go ahead.
A lot of people are saying it's complicated, and then the people who are giving it great reviews are not really sites I know too well, so I don't know if I should take their word for it. I don't know. I hope it's good. It's Kojima.
I watch Funhouse on YouTube, and like on their Inside Gaming portion, they were talking about how like they got to play it early and they like the game. It's definitely like gorgeous. No one can deny that. The story is definitely a Kojima story. But like apparently just the aspect is your job is to transport things across great landscapes in America to save it, right? And it's just like
it sounds like you're a delivery boy.
Yeah, you are literally apparently a delivery boy, and sometimes that could be exciting because it's a bunch of Kojima stuff in the mixture. You're fighting against like nature and the elements in order to stay alive, but also at the same time you are a delivery boy. But I think like a coworker today at Best Buy, they're like, I think everyone's just super hype about this game simply because it's a Kojima game. And like, if it was made by anyone else, I don't think people would be as hype. And I'm like, well, but that's the point of a Kojima game. There's no other game where the elevator pitch is okay. Bear with me, all right? You're a delivery guy, all right? Well, now wait. Saving America. Okay. I know I got you now. And like there's demons and like babies that give you a thumbs up, and like there's an umbilical cord attached to a dude, and rain. And I think maybe we're on the moon. Don't know yet. But trust me, I'm Kojima. I'll make it work. And then you give that man $1 billion and he'll make you a game in a couple years, right? Like only Kojima.
Yeah, he's about the only one. I don't think anyone else could pull that off. Yeah, were you excited for this game when they announced it?
I was excited for another Kojima game. Especially after the whole break with Konami and everything like that. That's wondering what he's going to do next, right? And to hear that PlayStation, which is a brand that I love, I have a PlayStation 4 and everything, to hear that they picked him up to do his next exclusive game. All right, like what will Kojima give us when he is unshackled by Konami and we're a delivery boy saving America? So basically, I got exactly what I asked for.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like I love Kojima, but ever since like they announced it and like I saw the trailer and the subsequent trailers after that, the whole time I'm just thinking, I don't know what this game is. I like I get everybody's excited for it because it's Kojima. Awesome, but for the longest time I was just wondering, what's the gameplay? What exactly am I going to be doing in it? I don't know. It's I don't know. I hope it's good, but my expectations weren't really high watching all the trailers coming up into it. So like these kind of like these reviews that are coming out saying it's really, really artistic and all this, but kind of boring on the day-to-day stuff, like didn't come to me as too much of a surprise.
yeah,
At least not personally.
yeah,
It's kind of what I expected from the trailers.
We knew that we weren't getting another Metal Gear Solid, which like is a military action game. We knew we weren't getting that basically from the first trailer. So, being prepared that it would be a slower Konami or Kojima experience, like it kind of eases you into that, but it's definitely a departure from Snake with a rocket fist. And
Yeah.
a dog.
I don't mind something new. I love it. Like I'd always prefer like a new IP rather than a sequel. That's kind of been my attitude with everything. Like I'd always prefer a studio to go and try to do something brand new, because it's incredibly hard to do. But I don't know about you guys, but anytime I play an RPG, anything like that, fetch and run quests, I hate them. I hate them so much. I've always hated them, and it makes me a little nervous if that's what I'm hearing about this game. If it just ends up being one giant fetch and run quest,
Yeah.
I might have to pass.
I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah.
I got it pre-ordered.
I might have to wait on that one.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
I like fetch quests in Outer Worlds, mostly because I just kill everyone and it still works.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
If you can kill everyone along the way, that okay.
It's really a fetch quest.
Yeah. On to our next bit of news. Microsoft has now put out their All Access Pass, which, for those of you who don't know, is a way for people who don't necessarily have a decent savings enough to like go out and buy an Xbox right off the bat. It lets you pay for an Xbox in monthly installments of, or depending on what your plan is. They announced this a long while back that they wanted to do it when the Xbox One X launched. It kind of got put on hold for a while. Basically, you're going to have to be subject to a credit check through the retailer that is assigned to your country. I know Amazon is controlling all of this for US orders. So if you wanted a Xbox One X and you have decent enough credit, you can go and get an Xbox right off the bat. They'll send it right to you, and you just keep paying $20 a month, and that'll include gold and all that, and you just keep paying it and playing it until you have it paid off. So, does this ever appeal to you guys like that?
So it's
actually kind of my experience with that kind of stuff is in musical equipment. There's a website called Z Sounds, and I pay for all my drums and my guitars monthly with that. So that's pretty cool. I like that they're doing that. If only it was PC parts, it would interest me a little bit more. But yeah, no, it's good as long as you keep paying for it. So don't miss a payment. Otherwise, it does mess up some stuff later on down your life, but you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lease to own sort of.
Yeah,
system.
more or less is what it is.
So people are already talking about like this dystopian future that we're quickly barreling towards with you don't own your games anymore. When music licenses for GTA run out 10 years later, they have to remove the music from the radio state. Like, so we're already talking about that where you don't even own the game anymore. And we're already at a point where you technically don't own the console because you can't open it, because as soon as breath from your mouth enters the internals of the system, the warranty's void. So like this is worse than that, because now it's just like, oh, it's like as soon as you miss a payment, they just take the Xbox back. Like that, now it's just done. Now you truly don't own your console because it's gone from you until I guess you pay it off later / eventually. But I think you're paying more in the long run, right?
Yeah.
Depending on which plan you go with, they break it down. It depends. Like the Xbox One X, I think it ends up costing you a total of $50 more. So instead of paying $500 outright, you'll end up paying $550, which isn't terrible in it, and especially since it gives you an Xbox controller, but it also gives you 24 months of Xbox Ultimate. So that includes Game Pass both on Xbox and PC, and a live membership for 2 years. So
it's better than Best Buy,
the value itself isn't bad. Like if you don't feel comfortable just going right out there, because the initial investment into the console is fairly high. You go out and get an Xbox One X, you spend $500 on it. Okay, that comes with one controller, but then now you need games for it. Even if you're getting cheap games, even if you're going over to GameStop and getting out of their bargain bucket,
right,
it's still roughly another $100 or so. And I don't think it's a bad investment, especially because if it didn't have Game Pass in it or live, then I would say, don't do this.
It looked bad until they basically said, oh, but you get unlimited games with it.
Well, you get Game Pass in it, which I think has about...
It's a lot of games in there, like more.
And they're AAA games too, a lot of them.
Right.
Game Pass itself, I absolutely love. It's a great value.
Yeah, I just got it for the Outer Worlds for the PC.
Yeah. It's not quite as strong of a library on PC yet, but on Xbox, but it's getting there. They're adding more and more. But on Xbox, it's got a really healthy library. And I don't ever really run into issues with it. I think maybe one game, but that was on PC, that I've ever had issues with. But,
right.
I don't know. I see this as going more towards like kids in their late teens, early 20s or something, like where they're working at like a part-time job and not making much money. And so they can't really afford to go out and drop $500-$600 on some gaming stuff.
Have credit though.
Yeah, too.
If the moment the bank or anyone is just like, I know you don't have any credit because you're still getting allowance, but I think I'm gonna sign you up for this, you run away from that.
Yeah,
that is not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's something out there. It's an option. It's not something I would do, even if I didn't already own an Xbox. I'm the kind of guy, I go and buy a car with cash. Like I'd rather do that and buy a crappier car straight up with cash than a nicer car and payments. That's always been my mentality. It's the same thing with any sort of gaming equipment.
Yeah. Don't miss a payment. Don't mess up your credit.
Yeah.
I have good credit. I don't want to mess that up at all.
Hard to do when you're young too. Like the younger you are.
Yeah. Our next bit of news is EA has been talking and kind of laying out some of their plans for the next couple of years. Their next Battlefield game is not going to be coming until 2022. Sorry, Battlefield fans. Yeah, you're going to have to wait a while. Battlefield 5 will be it for a good while.
Ouch.
Their plans for now is to put more focus into Apex Legends. They said that's going to be their quote unquote annual shooter for the next while. I don't know if they're by that if they're meaning that they're going to try and compete more with Call of Duty is their plan. And sadly for Titanfall fans, they didn't mention anything about a Titanfall 3, which makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
I think the most they said was like, we haven't forgotten about the Titanfall series. That was it basically.
Yeah. So it's going to be a while for Titanfall, going to be a while for Battlefield. As far as EA shooters, you can really expect a lot of Apex.
Yeah, and I can understand where they're coming from too. They want something to be able to compete because Modern Warfare 4 is doing phenomenal. It's got phenomenal reviews. It's a fantastic game. I personally play it. And since they brought back Ground War, which is basically just plain Battlefield in Call of Duty really needs to step up their game, especially because 5 didn't do very well.
Or Battlefield, yeah. Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, I hated.
Yeah.
I hated. I hated it. The style. I was playing. That was back when I was just younger and just doing console only, and I had Bad Company 2, which is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then Battlefield 3 and 4, and those I have so many memories of playing that on console and just having the absolute blasts. And then Battlefield 1, I just hated every single thing about it.
It was a polarizing game. People either loved it or hate it, but it was actually one of their best-selling Battlefield games to come out, believe it or not.
I believe it, but like a lot of things are the most exciting new thing ever, right? Because like there's more gamers than there ever has been before, technically, and more people are able to get a PC and a console, etc. Especially with a new way to get an Xbox. There's going to be more Xbox Live players than ever before, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like the best or successful. I would certainly argue that because it was so divisive, right? It means that it certainly wasn't one of the best Battlefields ever made, because people are able to be like, I freaking hate that thing, versus 3 and 4, where like 90% of people who did play it are just like, is the greatest game ever. But just and then Battlefield 5, I definitely played it on PC. I stopped playing it when they did like updates that made my GTX 1080 like not really able to play and stream it very well. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I struggled with it on there too, and I've got a pretty strong PC, and even dropping everything low, like it something about that game, it struggled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I get why they're delaying Battlefield. They've had EA's had a rough year.
But
put it softly.
Like that for EA, right?
Yeah, it's they haven't had the greatest year. So I can see why they do that. It's a bummer that they're putting, or that their Titanfall is not going to be coming out, because I feel like that one was more of the lack of sales on Titanfall 2 was more on EA's fault rather than the developers, because they put it right between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty. I remember that.
Absolutely. It was like the 3, if there was 3 weeks between those games, they put it on like the second week. It's like that.
Yeah.
That
put it right in between, competing against one of their own games, which Battlefield, it's always sold, I mean, fairly well, comparatively to most games. Even Battlefield 5, which didn't do well, it still made money for them.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm bummed about Titanfall, because that was a solid game. Had a great sci-fi story, and probably one of the better like first-person shooters don't usually have good campaigns. And I thought Titanfall had a solid campaign. So that makes me sad.
Especially after the first one, it was such a controversy when they said that we just won't have campaigns anymore. Remember that? Yeah. They're like, guys, we have the numbers. We like here's an Excel spreadsheet. Here's a percentage of you that play through the Call of Duty campaigns. We know you don't do it, so it's not worth making it. But as soon as you tell a gamer that you like that they don't do something, then they're like, "What do you mean? We definitely do it." I'm not.
Yeah, and a lot of people got mad about that. And you know what? They turned around with Titanfall 2, and they came out with a solid story on it.
Yeah,
like, they put a lot of good work in it. So.
Absolutely.
It's almost Halo level.
Yeah.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If only the series could continue, and then it could become a Halo-like franchise.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I was nervous when Apex. Like, I was happy that Respawn was able to put a game out like Apex out of nowhere, and that it did so well, because that is great for Respawn. But at the same time, when that blew up, I was a little nervous, because I'm thinking, oh, is this gonna mean there's not gonna be a Titanfall for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The studio is only so big; they can only do so much.
Right.
And if Titanfall's, or if Apex is what's making the money.
But then even Apex kind of, like, I mean, just in terms of player drop, it hasn't maintained the numbers that it had. The season 2 has been, really good in at least getting back to that, but like it hasn't been near that height ever since, like a week or two after it came out.
But it's one of the few things outside of the sports games that's actually making EA money right now. They've had a rough couple years. The Battlefield and Anthem and Battlefront. And
actually, speaking of Battlefront, that does mean that, and I keep up with Battlefront 2 updates every now and then, because I love Star Wars, and even if the game is whatever, it's still freaking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So it does look like they're going to keep on like making content for Battlefront 2, especially since they're not going to be making Battlefront 3 anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you'll still see stuff coming out for both Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5. I think you'll see stuff continue with that. Obviously, I think like 70% of DICE's like effort's going to be going towards whatever the next Battlefield is. They're really going to take their time with it, but they've got a few years on it, and I think they'll still keep some small teams working on Battlefront and Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
That kind of brings us to our next little bit of news, though.
Anthem.
I just got to say that this author over on Forbes, Paul Tassi, I love his stuff. I love reading his stuff. If you want to stay up to date on good, entertaining like news articles, he's the man. Just his title, what appears to be the last guy running Anthem left. Bioware. The head of live services, Chad Robertson, he left Bioware after 14 years of working there. It's kind of a big one. The last couple guys that were running Anthem had also left or moved on to other games. So it's just kind of bad news all around for Anthem. It's not. I don't bring this up because it's not surprising news, but it worries me, because it seems with all these like huge level departures from the studio, it makes me really worry for BioWare. It makes me really, really worry for BioWare. Because BioWare is divided up into a few different studios. It was BioWare proper, the main ones who did like Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, who did Anthem. But even Andromeda, which was done by one of their subsidiary studios, that one struggled at launch as well.
Struggled, more like crashed and burned.
And I just worry now. Like, the last couple years have been really, really rough for BioWare, and you've got all these big names at the company leaving. I worry about BioWare. I worry about what the future holds for them.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. I don't know if EA is doing something that's making them want to leave. It wouldn't surprise me, because I've heard that EA is very hard to work for. I really hope that BioWare recovers, because I want another Dragon Age. I love that series. But I don't know. I
just want an actual Mass Effect. That's all I want.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
I jumped on Mass Effect Andromeda as soon as it came out. I was so excited to play it, and I played through it. I got through all the derpy faces. I was kind of hoping like, oh, maybe it's just a early, or maybe just like, you know, only 20 people. They're just really loud that had these problems. But like, no, it was rather universal, and good.
It was almost unplayable at launch.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. I put this out there, and it makes people mad. I don't think Andromeda was a bad game necessarily. It wasn't a Mass Effect game though.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
like the actual gameplay, the combat, I enjoyed that. That felt fine to me, and it's just story wise, character wise, it didn't feel like a Mass Effect. It didn't have the same vibe. It felt different. It felt like they should have tweaked it a little bit more and given a completely different title outside of Mass Effect. Just have nothing to do with, you know, any of those races or anything like that. And it probably, I think, it would have done a little bit better if they wrote it off as a new IP.
People have been more forgiving.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, at this point, almost everyone who was a part of the Bioware team that made Knights of the Old Republic and, you know, the original Mass Effects, like a lot of those people are gone. So even if they made they could come out tomorrow and just say, "Hey, look, here's Dragon Age 3," but like that in no way, shape, or form, or Dragon Age 4, I don't know. I mean, Inquisition. But like that in no way, shape, or form means that it will carry the same like powerful narrative that those previous games did, because like it's the people behind it that made the games as amazing as it is, at least like story wise. And if those people aren't there, and it's people that have never really made like story games before, it could just, you know, end up being Mass Effect Andromeda again, where,
yeah,
you know, the real passion isn't like there anymore, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Everything going on with BioWare scares me, truly. Like I really do. I don't want to see BioWare go under at all, but it's hard to imagine that any studio, right, that's based on money could keep on taking hit after hit like this. You know, they've devoted a lot to Anthem, and it is not worth it at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, it does come down to they both developer and publisher. They are businesses, and if they're not making money, if their products aren't selling, they're going to be gone. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's not the first time like a beloved studio goes under.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's, I don't know. We'll see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for them. BioWare has a special place in my heart. Between Mass Effect and Jade Dragon and Knights of the Old Republic, and you know, there's so many great RPGs. I hope, I really hope. My heart goes out to them.
Yeah.
Our next bit of news is
This is
I can never see. I can never say the CEO's name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. I know it's Yves something. I can't speak French. I can't pronounce French. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take your word on it. I know I'll butcher it. Anyways, the CEO of Ubisoft, he came out and said that they are well on their way towards working on crossplay functionality within the Ubisoft games family. Most likely this means Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor will be the first ones testing out crossplay. But yeah, we'll see. What do you guys think about it?
I think it'll be really cool. It's working really well for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. It works well for Fortnite. It works okay for PUBG. But it works well for the first two. And I think, doesn't Apex also do crossplay?
Nope.
No?
Is that an Epic Games Store?
Yeah. I thought they did.
I don't know.
Apex is on EA's client. It's not.
Oh yeah,
Epic.
Origin.
Okay, then no. Then I don't believe it does. No.
Yeah, they don't do crossplay. Yeah, I don't know. I love seeing crossplay. I love anything that gets rid of any sort of sense of exclusivity.
So I'm a huge Rainbow Six Siege player. It's my main game that I stream. I always, like earlier in 2000, like just the 2000s, every time someone would talk about crossplay, the response would just be like, listen, when it comes to first person shooters, mouse and keyboard is faster. There's no aim assist. Like when you put, 25 PC players up against 50 console players, PC players are going to just like be out sniping like all the time, right? On, or at least like a completely unfair scale. And I was just like, all right, I mean, if you're testing it, I believe it, whatever. I never really like cared too much because I like console exclusivity for certain things. So like I liked the Killzone franchise. I liked it a lot. And it was like only existed because Sony put money towards it. And sometimes exclusivity breeds better games. Halo would not exist as it has, right, if it wasn't because Microsoft wanted their game. So sometimes exclusivity breeds better, more focused games. And I mean, when you're adding crossplay to stuff that's already been out, you're just kind of like just shaking up the status quo, which is usually fine. That being said, for Siege being like the slow first person shooter tactical game that it is, I look forward to seeing like how console players get used to it, because I have a lot of console players that come up in my chat and say, oh, I'm switching from PlayStation or Xbox to PC, and just like everything is different. Like people play differently, people like hold angles differently. There are bans that happen in console that don't happen on PC because there's just like a glitch that's happening in one and not the other. So how does that work when there's a grenade glitch and they have to ban one character on PC, but like because the console just doesn't have that glitch, that character isn't banned? How does that work?
I think it'll be interesting to see, especially Rainbow Six is a pretty sweaty game.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean that's because I was originally on Xbox, and that's where I gamed for a long time. And then when I switched over to PC finally a couple years ago, Rainbow Six is kind of how I got down the mouse and keyboard, because it was a game that I put tons of time into. That I didn't have to learn the mechanics. I just had to. It helped ease me into it. But I don't know. It makes me wonder, because I play a lot of Destiny, and on Destiny, the metas in competitive on it are different between console and PC, right? The meta on PC for Destiny is hand cannons, precise, hard-hitting, hit scan weapons, whereas if you go to console, everybody's using auto rifles. They're using fully automatic guns, and we're tracking is more of the meta. And I think about that, and I think that's got to apply to Rainbow Six and other games and stuff like that too. And I'm curious to see how that'll switch things up as far as whatever the meta is and that kind of stuff. I gotta imagine it makes, especially in a game like Rainbow Six where they're constantly putting out balance patches, right? I gotta imagine that has a whole nother nightmare for the developers as far as balancing goes.
Don't you have to pay like Sony and Xbox to like release updates on like their systems? Like to, I know, like for some reasons, like why MMOs, like there's not necessarily more MMOs on consoles. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons. Keyboard just has more options, etc. But also just like the constant updates that the game has to go through. You have to refresh the store page with a new version of the game every time there's an update or a patch. So
updating on console is not much different than
is it not
PC.
okay?
No, you just hit a button, start update, and it'll do that. I'd say the reason why like more like games of service stuff like MMOs or Warface or stuff like that haven't been on console is more of tech limitations, storage, and that kind of stuff. Because they're big games.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're always big install sizes, and they take a decent bit of RAM, and I think it's more tech size because you're seeing more and more of those come over. Like I know Warface is over on console now, and more and more I'm seeing more and more MMOs from like 10 years ago finally hopping over to Xbox and PlayStation,
which is weird to me.
It does feel kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
so weird.
like I know DayZ came over to console. What was it, last year or the year before? Like even though it'd been on PC for a long time,
right?
Black Desert Online.
Yeah, that game's been around for a long time. That came out this last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more of tech. Yeah, the tech requirements, because Xbox and PS4, they're becoming more similar to PCs, and especially with this next gen.
Yeah.
They're basically just becoming. Yeah, they're basically just becoming PCs with like a curated UI.
Yeah,
is the way I kind of see them now.
Yeah,
just you can't do everything that a PC does, but it'll have a lot of the same power behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon for crossplay between Ubisoft games, but maybe after a year or so would probably be my guess. We'll see though.
We'll see. That's for sure.
Yeah,
we'll be here. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah. A little bit of news. Won't dwell on it for too long. Mixer has come out this week, and they've dropped their subscription price from basically $6 a month to $5 a month. A lot of you may be thinking, "Oh, well, that's not a big deal. It's only $1 difference." The point behind it that makes it more significant is that it's, especially in light of some of Microsoft's recent moves with their streaming platform, is they're really gearing up to try and become more competitive. The reason why them going down to $5 is significant is because that's what Twitch's monthly subscriptions cost. So it puts them on par with who they're directly trying to compete with.
It's also Facebook's price.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Facebook, and I think D Live, it's $5 a month too. It's kind of the standard subscription price among streaming websites.
So Mixer was above the standard for a while then.
Yeah, they're $1 above. So it puts them more in line. It's a little thing, but it's making me excited. Like Mixer is by no means my favorite streaming platform, but I'm a big fan of Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft, and he's bringing back more of this Xbox 3. I feel like this is reminiscent of the Xbox 360 era, where Microsoft was a lot more aggressive in their endeavors, and it's reminding me a lot of that, and I'm glad to see it. Competition is good for us,
right?
It's good for the gamer.
Yeah, I do. I mean, just Twitch still just like has that dominance. So just the amount of people who know about it, it's still like the number one thing that most people go to when they think of live streaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, just like this competition is good, healthy. We'll see if this changes a lot. It's good that they're part of the standard now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where Mixer goes. If they're going to, how long they can keep up this aggressive stance. I'm interested to see. So our last little bit.
Did you have anything, Cycles, about Mixer? Or?
No, I was just going to say, step up your game, Facebook. Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah. So, bit of big news this week. BlizzCon started up yesterday, and out of it we got some fairly big announcements. We'll start with kind of the first big one that a lot of people are excited for. Diablo 4 was finally announced. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Did you guys watch any of the presentation?
I can't wait. I can't wait. I've been waiting for a new Diablo for quite some time. I put so much time into Diablo 3, so much time into Diablo 2. I did actually own the physical copy of Diablo 1 back in the day because I'm old, and I loved it. And I'm just super excited that they're finally putting out the fourth, and there'll be PvP, which is going to be really fun because you can turn it on and then, oh yeah, look, random person comes in, you just kill them and just take their crap and go. So I'm excited. It's going to be good.
What about you, Kira?
I like. Well, I was gonna say I like Blizzard, but blah, right? Hot take. But I like their games. I'm not personally a fan of Diablo. It's just like the looter, the top-down looter isometric style never really stuck with me. Like every year, my friends will boot up Diablo 3 and 3, and we'll play through it a bit. But it does look less cartoony by a lot, like than the last one for sure. A lot more realistic, which is definitely like a really cool art style. Like, I mean, yeah, the images that we're seeing here look absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I was always interested in the story.
It does remind me, the art style specifically does remind me a bit more of 1 and 2, where it's a little bit more
gritty.
Gritty, grim. 3 was almost more, I don't know how to describe it, almost more like fantasy. Yeah. Like I know the whole series is fantasy, but it was kind of like it was embracing that side more rather than this kind of like grim reality.
It was more cartoony.
Yeah.
Like a Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited. I played those games so much when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I loved them. I'm excited for the next one. Diablo always has a special place in my heart.
We used to do LAN parties specifically for Diablo 2 back before internet was really a thing. So it was great. You didn't have to have BattleNet, nothing. You just hook up and go.
Yep. Good times.
I miss those days.
Well, it sounds like they're going to be changing a lot of things. I'm not going to go into great detail on it because you guys can. The presentation is up there on the internet, but it is coming. It's confirmed. A lot of Blizzard fans were concerned for a long time after kind of the mess up with Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, that's right.
And
come on,
I think this is kind of their way of kind of reestablishing some good faith with their fans after the last year or so rough times they've had. So it is coming.
Yeah.
Have no fear. And then the other big announcement that they had, which I am personally super excited for, was they announced Overwatch 2. I say I'm super excited for. I have a lot of mixed feelings on it. I'm excited for anything more Overwatch, but I'm a little confused on this. I don't know if you guys are. Everything, so they're coming out with Overwatch 2, right? And it's going to have all this PvE, player versus environment stuff to it, but the PvP is still going to be carried forward. If you have Overwatch 1, you are still going to be able to play in PvP against people on Overwatch 2, right? All the characters and new maps and stuff like that, that's going to be shared between both titles. So I'm a little confused because Overwatch, while I'd like to see more story stuff and PvE stuff from it, it is at its heart, at its core, a PvP game. So if all the PvP stuff is still going to be in Overwatch 1, what incentive do I have to buy Overwatch 2?
Yeah.
I'm confused on that.
That's the co-op story. The co-op like missions and stuff like that is what they're trying to sell. And it looks appealing for someone like me who doesn't really like Overwatch's PvP, but I don't think I would spend a full price pinpoint on a game that seems more like an expansion, if I'm speaking honestly.
That's what I mean. It feels more like an expansion pass where they're just adding PvE stuff, and yet they're going to be charging full price on it. I'm just at a loss on it. I don't understand. It's not like they're not running on a new graphical engine. Any sort of graphical updates to it are going to be very, very minor. So what's the reason to get Overwatch 2?
Yeah, that I don't know.
We don't know how. I feel as though it's not going to be like a $60 game. You know what I mean? Like I feel like $40 for like the PvE content that they're going to do, and then as you said, like the multiplayer will be free for everyone who already has it.
I'm willing to bet it's going to be a $60 price point on it, and I bet. I think that makes me really nervous about this too. We've known Overwatch 2 is going to be coming for a while, but what makes me nervous on it is Overwatch doesn't make money from their loot boxes. Everybody loves their loot box system, but that's because they give it out like candy. They don't. Blizzard doesn't actually make money off of that. Activision is probably one of the most money hungry publishers out there, and I say that because they don't try to hide from it. You know, like EA and some of these other companies, when they get caught doing something wrong, like with Battlefront 2, like they'll at least put up a show of humility, like, oh, we shouldn't have done that, right? Activision's like, no, we just want your money. You know, give us your wallet. So they don't make money off these loot boxes. So what I am waiting for is, what are they going to do to capitalize on Overwatch 2 outside of the initial selling point? I don't believe they are going to have loot boxes the same way. They haven't said anything about it, but in my heart, I feel like it's going to be something different. I feel like we're going to see some sort of debacle with microtransactions, some new way of microtransactions in the next one. I don't know if you guys have given that much thought or if you think differently on it.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like the loot box system that they have right now, people like it and they give it out a lot. There's going to be even more opportunities for them to give you new skins. With this PvE story element thing, they can do. I don't think they're going to make it like pay to win, but you have to like unlock levels and combine different abilities. That might be a different like pay to whatever structure that they put in there. Like imagine, Genji, this outfit right here, right? That he has here, and he's able to make different abilities now in the PvE portion. So you can make even more premium skins that have even more animations based on all the, different customization features you have. So they could start charging, money for more premium skins because it's going to have a lot more animations than normal. I could see them doing something like that, and it only affects the PvE really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay. I've said it before multiple times. I'm okay with cosmetics. I will pay for cosmetics. I've done it multiple times. Destiny, World of Warcraft, multiple games where you can pay for cosmetics. But as soon as it starts getting into the territory where, like the latest Ghost Recon, where it starts kind of taking the fun out of the game because one person has a weapon that goes through and kills everyone. For especially in like a PvE session, I'm not really for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my personal opinion on microtransactions. I don't mind them if it's just cosmetic based.
Right.
Yeah. I've just got a lot of mixed feelings. I'm excited for more Overwatch content, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous at what's going to happen next. I feel like my knee is aching. I feel the weather changing. The storm's coming. Like I feel like something not great is going to happen with this. I feel like it's going to, I don't know. My senses are tingling on it.
I mean,
So
they did a really good job with the original Overwatch. Like, yeah, sure, like Activision can definitely be greedy, but Overwatch is extremely successful and profitable just, in other ways.
It's not though. It is incredibly popular, but it has been steadily its annual revenue has been steadily declining since it's come out. Even with Overwatch coming out on the Switch and stuff like that, like their Overwatch League has been really popular, and they found ways to make money off of that. Right. And that's where the majority of their income comes from anymore, is Overwatch League. But like this year, they're actually shrinking it. Overwatch League, they're cutting back on a lot of costs because it's not staying as profitable as it's been. They're shrinking the arena that they've been doing it at the last couple of years for the championships, and everything else, like smaller audience size and all that, just because it's getting more expensive and they're not making quite enough money on it. And with Activision, with the way like their personality is, and them losing Bungie, which was they had a fairly big IP for them. Right. That's another source of revenue that's gone.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna do something with microtransactions that gamers aren't going to be happy about. I could be totally wrong. It's just gut feeling on it.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening.
I hope not. Of course, I hope not. And I do look. I'm excited for PvE. As we said, like Anthem is dying, right? Ubisoft has like different games going on, and like we didn't really talk about like the Division 2, right? So in terms of PvE experiences, there's not a lot, especially ones that are very, very popular these days. So being able to have one of the most popular team games come out with a version that's far more PvE based, like I know I'll be playing it just because like I've been itching for a PvE game, and I'm not really the type of person who buys a lot of skins if it's not through in-game currency.
I am.
I'd be okay with just not paying for it and then just, getting what I get from there and still enjoying it. So as long as they have the ability to get it through in-game currency, then I'm pretty okay. I'm pretty okay with an Overwatch 2, but it definitely is weird that they're certainly not going to try to split the player base. That's why I think like the multiplayer portion, as you said, is going to be free. So people who have no interest in PvE but still want to stay in like the Overwatch League, they don't have to pay much, if anything at all, to stay in it. And it'll probably bring more life into the Overwatch League experience, and then maybe that will allow them to keep on getting a bigger theater and drive the esports industry in general, because without Overwatch, esports wouldn't be what it is right now. Like that's, I don't think that's debatable.
They have made a lot of progress there.
Yeah.
It's, I don't
know. He's just so happy.
Jace, did you have a stroke?
Excited. He's so excited for Overwatch 2 that he's just frozen with
Troy.
All right.
Okay. Well, I guess it's me now.
All right. Blizzard took him. Blizzard's like, take him.
There we go. We're getting back.
All right, he's back.
I don't know what was going on there. My apologies, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You had me panicking there. I was still hearing you guys, still saying
there we go.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. As I was saying, anyways, as we end up saying a lot of the times on the show, we'll just have to kind of wait and see, I guess. It's what it comes down to. Hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be good. We are nearing our hour on the podcast, so I'm gonna we're going to call it on our news there. I think we covered basically the main kind of big stuff coming out this week, or that happened this week.
And also a World of Warcraft new expansion.
World of Warcraft new expansions, Hearthstone new expansions coming out. Yeah. Some new stuff for you guys. Should be excited for.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our games coming out this week. Psychos Crash, would you mind going through those?
Absolutely. All you dance fans, November 5th, Just Dance 2020 will release. All you fans who like the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, for some reason, I don't know why, those are also coming out on November 5th for the Switch. Planet Zoo for PC will be on the 5th as well. And finally, I know a lot of PC fans have been waiting, Red Dead Redemption 2 will be on PC November 5th.
Yeah.
Be sure to pick that up. And then this one's kind of out of left field. Garfield Kart.
Yes.
Racing for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC.
I feel like it should have been Furious Racing.
Furious, yeah.
I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah. A little bit. And then November 8th, we get Death Stranding on PS4, so we can finally see what that game's actually about.
Yeah.
Disney's got a game coming out on the Switch, the Sum Festival, November 8th. Okay. Jumanji, the video game. I hope Jack Black plays in it because that'd be great for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC on the 8th. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catarelli and the Millionaires Conspiracy Deluxe Edition will be on the Switch November 8th.
Long title.
That's a mouthful.
Japanese title for sure.
All you racing fans, Need for Speed Heat will be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC in November. And then for anybody who played Lucky's Tale, we're getting new Super Lucky's Tale for the Switch on November 8th.
Alrighty. So those are your guys' games to look forward to this week. We're going to move on to our last segment for the podcast. It's going to be our rapid fire questions time.
All right. Ready.
And where we're going to answer Kurohitsuki a whole bunch of questions as fast as we can, both Psychos Crass and I, and he needs to answer as quickly as he can. And if he gets any of them wrong, we both get to keep his hat. Are you ready?
I'll fight for this hat.
We'll split down the middle.
All right. First question. What word do you find yourself saying a lot?
Appreciate.
Your favorite peripheral brand?
Logitech.
If you could remove any band from existence, which one would it be?
Hollywood Undead.
Yes. Top 5 necessities for the zombie apocalypse.
Zombie pets.
Five zombie pets?
Exactly.
All right. What would be much, much better if you could change the color of it?
Russian flag.
You could wedgie any person in history. Who would it be?
Wedgie anyone?
TikTok.
George Washington. Imagine.
What?
Imagine being the guy who did that.
What is your favorite key on a keyboard?
Z.
Psychos?
Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
Best video game of all time?
Advance Wars Dual Strike.
Nice. If Jimmy is 29 and Sally is 26, how many sharks live near California?
About 32.
Ice cream or froyo?
Ice cream.
And that's all I had.
Very, very nice. You did very well. You get 7 A+ out of 6 stars. So good job.
Awesome.
That is going to be our show tonight, guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will have the audio podcast of our audio version of this podcast up here soon. You can check that out on any podcast platform platform of your choice. We stream this every Saturday, typically at 4 p.m. Pacific. Today was a little bit different. But you can see us again next Saturday. Find us live on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you have any streamers that you would like us to reach out to and see if they want to be on the show in a future episode, please send us a message either on Facebook, Twitter, or at justfaceitpodcast@gmail.com. Kiro, is there anything you want to plug?
Just basically my stream. I'm twitch.tv/Kurohitsuki. Also on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. I play Rainbow Six Siege, Magic the Gathering, and other variety games. I'm doing a playthrough of The Outer Worlds right now, which has been a pretty great experience. And so I'll just down for some chill games. Come on through. Stream every day, starting at 11.
Awesome. And you, Psychos?
You can find me at facebook.com/thepsychoscrest. You can find me at Instagram at psychoscrest. You can find me on Twitter at the psychoscrest. And you can find me on LinkedIn at the psychoscrest.
All right. And I'm Jace, and I go by the Mocking Jace TV on literally every available platform out there. Hit me up anytime. And that's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you for hanging out. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Later.